What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. We're playing some merge tactics today, and what I want to talk about in this video is kind of, maybe a glimmer of hope in, response to the video I dropped 2 days ago about the state of merge tactics and why I think it is dying and in a really bad spot right now. But I think that there are a few ways that Supercell can save it. I think that there's enough support behind the game that with a bit of effort on Supercell's part, I think it could really thrive. I think there are ways to make money on it, and I think it could be really beneficial for the game going forward. So the first thing that is incredibly simple for them to do, and honestly kind of astounding that they haven't done it yet, is a trophy reset. I honestly can't believe that they've had, 3 Clash Royale seasons now with merge tactics in the game and have not reset trophies once. It just makes no sense to me that all they would literally have to do is just reset all the trophies. The bot farmers would be, because they know there's enough players to find matches. The bots don't need to be in the game. We could remove the bot farmers from the top leaderboard. We could actually start to see who the top players are, because right now we know that the top players are nowhere. I mean, top 500 is all bot farmers for the most part. Maybe a few at the bottom are actually legit, but that's just the way the leaderboard is. So a trophy reset is absolutely needed. It would be huge to get, an accurate representation of who's the best, and that would, that would get me playing again. I'm already playing, but that would get me really excited about the game mode again, because I know I have something to actually play for. I talked about it in the video, but I'm not insane at normal Clash Royale. I don't have any ranked finishes. I've made alt champ once, but I like to think I'm pretty good at here, and so I'd love to, make content about pushing trophies. I'd love there to maybe be a competitive scene. I think it's a bit too RNG based for there to really be a true competitive scene, but I think that there would be a huge interest around pushing for top leaderboards. I think that would be something that would be very beneficial to getting people to play past Diamond, because it's a fun game mode. At its core, it is truly a fun game mode. But what it suffers from is, the stale nature of it, and that same troops, same interactions, same teams, same playstyle, same modifiers. And, of course, I'm gonna talk about how they could fix that later. But even if they don't have the time, or maybe frankly just the money, just because it's not great ROI, even if they can't invest in the content of the game, they can at least make it enjoyable and give the players something to play for. I actually had a comment on the video I released 2 days ago that said maybe they're actually waiting for a season reset for the middle of this season. That way it kind of offsets, keeps players engaged, especially players who are playing both modes, keeps them engaged, keeps them excited, and, kind of drops things at an offset pace, just because that's going to be more interesting for the players who want something, to rejuvenate them mid-season. I think that might actually be a very good idea. Do I think they're going to do it this season based on what they've done so far? I really don't think so. Their communication has been very lacking. But a season or a trophy reset, even just out of the middle of nowhere, I don't think there's a single person who would complain. Nerkos, who's number 1 on the leaderboard, I'm sure he is just as fed up as any of us on the fact that, there's no reason to keep playing this mode. So I think a trophy reset is the number 1 thing that needs to happen to make this a playable game mode again. And I think I already addressed it, but the number 2 thing that needs to happen, and it doesn't affect the game mode, but it affects the way Supercell handles it, is communication. Like I said in that video, there have been 2 times that they've released new information about merge tactics, and both of those came with the balance changes. There has been no release of information about the state of the game mode, about their plans with it, outside of the I don't know why I'm trying to go for 4 stars on there, because they're playing Rangers. Outside of the 2 balance changes they released, there's been nothing. So there's a huge lack of communication, and that results in questions, so many questions being asked from the player base. So another comment on there said, I don't know what your problem is. All you content creators do is complain. Like, we get it. It's not, it's not great, but what is Supercell going to do? Just keep shelling out for you guys who want, anything and everything, or something like that. It was something to that effect. It was a hate comment, so I'm not even going to try to recreate it perfectly. But the point I replied to him with was, the lack of communication has been unbelievable. And if they want to continue this game mode being something that people play, and being something that there's enjoyment around, and being something that there's content around, then they need to be, communicating with their plans. And I get it. Maybe they don't want to make promises that they know they probably can't keep about timelines and stuff like that. But you gotta let us know that there's more coming, because it's stayed in the game. You know, if they really didn't want it to be here, they would take it away. And, you know, that's just something that hasn't happened. Oh, wow. 3-star barb. I think that there's still plenty of players for the mode. I don't have trouble finding matches. I haven't seen bots. And the issue is now that at the top ladder, and that's why I'm playing here on my alt, the top ladder is just is in such a bad spot, because none of the top players, well, not none, many of the top players have given up on the mode altogether. They're just not playing it anymore. And so then you're having, you know, 4,700 players matched with 4,400 players, and all the trophies are all wonky. And because it's an RNG-based game mode, you may be, you know, a 4,700 player going up against a 4,400 player. You can't find merges in the first 3 rounds, and then you lose and take a 100 trophy loss or something like that. It's just absolutely insane, the way that it's broken down there on top ladder. And so that's you know, another frustration with the ladder reset. I know I'm on a different point now, but, you know, just tell us what's going on. Tell us if you plan to keep it, because if they would have just come out and say, hey, you know, the initial release of it wasn't quite as successful as we had hoped, so we plan on, you know, phasing it out over the course of the next few weeks, I'd be fine with that, because at least they're communicating. At least I know, okay, you know, the game mode's going out, I can start making different content, and I can focus my efforts on somewhere where they're actually going to be beneficial to my channel. And instead, we just keep asking questions. All the content creators keep asking questions, and we're all stuck hoping for answers that we're not getting. Now, of course, you know, I'm sure if you're really following things, you've heard about leaks and whatnot. There were people in my comments saying, "Oh yeah, season reset's going to come with all kinds of new stuff." Obviously, didn't happen. We can't trust leaks. We know that. But wow, I don't even go for here. I think we're fine with throwers for now, but I need to pivot. They've got all the bandits, so I can probably just go rangers, because he's only got a 1-star. Oh, he's got 2-star. 2-star on the archer, and then he's only got the 2-star. Okay, yeah, that'll be what we'll do. We'll pivot next turn. But communication, that's something that there's been a lack of, and I think that's really hurt the game mode, but also the way the game mode is received. Because yeah, I'll be honest, like there's been a lot of frustration and frankly hate towards Supercell. Come on, get a kill. Frankly, hate towards Supercell for the way they've been handling it so far. And I don't think all of us deserve it. I think a lot of it is. And if there was just communication, there would be a lot of that would be alleviated, and there wouldn't be basis for it, just because they're letting us know what's going on. And then, yeah, the last way that I think that they could act to really improve the mode are just bringing in changes. It gets stale. We've had, what, I think it's 26 modifiers, 20 troops, 2 tower troops, and what, 8, maybe 10 different traits for 3 months now. And, you know, within those traits, there's only 4 teams that people are really playing, maybe 5 when you count in assassins, but there's really not that many different ways to play the game. And, you know, the modifiers add a nice spin to it, and it makes it less stale, just because you're going to play a different way for each different modifier that you encounter. But there's not enough. Ooh, let's do this. Hold up. Let me lock in for a second. I should really go for. Okay, I'm fine with that. Let's just go for. I don't know. I think I'll just sell that and just go for a 3-star bandit. But yeah, there's just been a lack of freshness with the content, and I think that most of us. Oh, is it ouch? I didn't realize it was ouch. Okay, we'll go for 4-ace gold knight. The same stuff is getting old. You know, you're going for the same 4 teams every single time. Every game feels like you play it the same. I think that hurts a few things. It hurts the skill cap, because there's not many ways to outplay. Because, you know, at top ladder... oh, hold up. At top ladder, everybody knows how to cycle pretty much flawlessly. So it's just a matter of who gets the better start at that point, and who's on point. When it comes to blocking, which, granted, is a skill... is an outcome of skill. There's a 3-star bandit. Oh yeah, we're locked. We're locked. Oh no, I needed those on frontline. That's fine. Which is a testament to skill. Blocking is a testament to skill. I think that's where you see the most skill from, you know, players on top ladder, is just their ability to block and use their elixir very, very efficiently. but I don't think that's enough to actually make their let there be a truly competitive part, like I said, because there's too much RNG in the game. So if they did a that's 3-star, there we go, that's the 4th, and then we can sell you, and then let's go ahead and get positioning. Actually, because it's ouch, I'm gonna go like that. It's funny, I'm actually trying to lock in and win some of these, even though this is just supposed to be a yapping video. But yeah, there's a need for new content. I think somebody probably has a golden knight. No, there's one. This is fine. There's one. There's a need for new content, and there's so many different ways they could go about that. They could keep a lot of the same teams. You know, they could keep maybe, you know, 2 of the ace units and then bring in other ace units. Bring in Dark Prince and I don't know, like Boss Bandit. She could be ace. Bring in other cards that you know, can fit with current traits, so there's not a full redesign. You don't have to use, because I'll be honest, the thing that makes it hard to bring in new content is that there's so many complex interactions, because all of these are ground troops and they're very simple with the way they interact. If you bring in stuff like Goblin Giant, well, how do you do that? How do you have a card that drops, like, its whole thing is that it has 2 Spear Goblins sitting in the back? And how do you have a card that drops things when it dies, when 2 Spear Goblins or, you know, 2 Elixir alone? And it's just a lot of complication there that I understand. There's a lot of work to be done there. So that's one of the reasons why I haven't spoken much about, you know, the fact that it's super simple, because it's not. Game development is a very, very difficult job, and there's a lot that could go into it. But I think that there's so much flexibility and so many ways to make the game mode interesting. Bring spells in, you know, buy spells that you can then keep on your sidebar over on the side and then play them in the middle of the game, or like drop them where you want them to go before the game starts. There's a lot of different ways that they could you know, bring other cards into the game that I don't think that they are. Obviously they haven't let us know that they're pursuing it, but there's so much flexibility and it could make it very interesting. And then the last thing I want to talk about, and I'll just talk about it for a few seconds here just because we're going to win this, is the profitability aspect. Obviously they're trying to make money as a company, and they get torn to shreds for trying to make money. That's just the way a mobile game is, but they got to make money. And if this doesn't make money, then they're losing dollars for every man hour that they put into developing the game mode. And from a purely business standpoint, we understand that that's not sustainable. Now, there are ways to make it sustainable. There could easily be a cosmetics battle pass. That's something that Molt actually mentioned at the very beginning when this mode came out. He said he could easily see cosmetics being a huge part of this game mode. And I think that there's still a big place for that. I think cosmetics would be huge in a battle pass, even cosmetics that you could buy. Just different things. I mean, maybe there's modifiers that, I don't know, you can't really put a paywall on modifiers, but there's just so many different ways that they could conceivably make money on here that they haven't even pursued yet. And maybe those are still in future plans. Again, the lack of communication could mean that all of this that I'm saying is stuff that they're addressing right now, and then in a week we'll have a full new game mode. But I just wanted to kind of make a video that you know, accompanied the one I released 2 days ago, because that was pretty negative. But I think there are so many different ways that they could make this a huge game mode. Like I said, I'm going to keep making content. I don't enjoy it all the time, but I still enjoy it every once in a while, and I still enjoy making content for it. I think that's really fun. So you will still keep seeing it on this channel, but yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please drop a like on it. I appreciate that. As always, subscribe if you have not already. Thank you guys for watching. I will see y'all in the next one.